Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I've already done a heart pillow, but somebody requested a bigger heart pillow. The reason it's so glittery, let me just set this aside for a minute. Okay, so I used red, obviously, for the heart. So this is just red, it's just a red heart super saver. So it's 4-weight. This sparkly stuff is a red heart. It's a roll with it sparkle cake. So this is not the same color. The cake that I have, I don't have the whole package, but it's got pinks and grays and stuff in it. I just pulled this out to show you what it was called and what it looked like. That's what it is that I'm going to mix in with it, and that's what made it come out looking so sparkly. So, a lot better than because I made this design is made for 2 pieces of yarn. Even my last pillow that I did was 2 pieces of yarn, and that pillow was 16 by 13. So, this one's just a bit bigger. A lot bit bigger. It doesn't sound bigger, but I'm using a 7mm, just like I did with my last one. So, always wanted to do a bigger one until really anybody said anything to me. I guess I just hadn't thought about it, and then somebody said, hey, I could use a bigger pillow. So here I am, making a bigger pillow. I'm going to start with a slip knot. So you just want to wrap your yarn, hold this end in this hand, wrap your yarn like this, make an X. So you're going to pick up this piece and you're going to put it over that piece, and then you're going to grab him, and then you can just pull or stick your hook in there and pull. That's your slip knot. That's how you make a easy peasy slip knot. We're going to start at the corner of the little bitty tippy of the heart, and we're going to build up to the humps. So you're going to chain 3. In this first stitch, in the first chain, you're going to put 3 single crochets. If you wanted to use double crochets, you'd get a very large pillow. And you probably have enough room to do double crochets without there being too much space. With the 2 pieces of yarn and your hook, you could probably get away with changing my single crochets into double crochets without there being too much space that you would see the stuffing through. I think. I don't know. I've never done it. I just wanted to do singles because I don't want to see the stuffing through it at all. So, you got your 3 single crochets. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn. So now you're looking at a little shell type looking dealio. So, our increases are going to be 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the last stitch, no matter where you are in this whole pattern. That's your increase. So when I say increase, row, that's what I mean. You're going to put 2 single crochets in the front, 2 single crochets in the back stitch, and then regular crochets in the middle. So this is an increase row. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Whoops. Get through all 4 pieces. And then the last stitch gets 2 single crochets. So that's how we're going to increase. You're going to chain 1 and turn. This next row is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. There's a stitch right there. So I know a lot of times if you're holding it like this, you think you need to go into this stitch, but you actually need to go into that stitch. Same reason why if you're doing something that should have a straight edge, it turns out not straight. It's because you haven't gone into this first stitch or into the last stitch, so your two sides won't be straight. Chain 1 and turn. This is an increased row. So 2 single crochets in that stitch. Regular crochets. Oh. If I can get into the stitch. And 2 single crochets into this stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. So between every increased row, we're going to have a regular row. All the way through. Round 5 is a regular row. So 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. This is an increased row. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1 single crochet in each stitch across to get to the last stitch. And the last stitch gets 2 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. Round 7, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. So round 8 is going to be an increased row, 2 single crochets in the first stitch. And 2 single crochets in the last stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 9 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 10 is an increased row. Round 11, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 12 is an increased row. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 13 is 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 14 is an increase row. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 15, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Row 16 is an increase row. It's getting harder to hold. Round 17 is 1 single crochet in each stitch. So, I don't want you to worry about how many stitches you have. Really, it only matters. I just had 18 there, but what matters is what you have before we start making the humps. So don't worry so much about your stitches or why I'm not putting numbers up on the screen. It doesn't matter what your numbers are. I think a lot of crocheters are too anal about what their numbers are. It doesn't matter until the final row before we start making our humps has to have 45 stitches. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. My patterns are pretty easy peasy, and you're not even going to notice if you've dropped a stitch or added a stitch. You won't even notice. So this is an increase row, so 2 in the first one. 2 single crochets in the last one. And then it's regular in the middle. and 2 in the last stitch. Round 19, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Making sure you get into this first stitch. You know, sometimes it doesn't seem like there should be a stitch there, but there is. Okay, 1, turn your work. Round 20 is an increase row. And 2 in this row. Oops. Make sure you're getting under all the pieces. So sometimes this really gets turned sideways, and I don't know why. This is an awkward stitch. So 2 in this stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 21 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Row 22 is an increase row. So I'm going to start breaking this down, because we have to go around row 22, and we have to go to complete this 39, but just to get to our humps 45 rows. We're on 22. So I'm going to start breaking this down because we're going to be here forever. This is going to be a very long video, and I'm sure you would like to work at it at your own pace and not mine. So round 22 is just going to be it's going to be an increase row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fade out into a pause screen that's going to tell you what you're doing, and then what your next row is, which will be the single crochet row, 1 single crochet, and then I'll come back and do an increase row, and I'll fade out into a pause screen, and I'll have the 2 rows up there that you have to do, and then so on and so forth, just to cut this video down to size. That way you can pause, go to the bathroom, get a tea, whatever you need to do. So this is an increase row. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 2 single crochets into the last stitch, and then normal. So I'm just going to call it an increase row, and that's what I'm going to mean. It's going to be the same thing for every single row what we've done so far. 2 in the beginning, 2 in the end, regular in the middle. Round 26 is an increase row. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the last stitch, and then regular crochets in the middle. Round 28 is an increase row. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the last stitch, and then regular crochets in the middle. I almost did a double crochet for some reason. Alright, round 30 is an increase row. So 2 in this, 2 in this, 2 in the beginning, 2 in the end, regular in the middle. So this is what you should have so far. Making progress, round 32. So we're getting there. Round 32 is an increase round, obviously, because you're seeing me on the screen and not words. So 2 single crochets in the first hole, 2 single crochets in the last hole, and then regular in between. Round 34 is an increase row. 2 single crochets in the front, 2 single crochets in the back, and a potty in between. I don't know. I don't know what made me think of a mullet while I was saying that. Alright, row 36. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Is an increase row because you get to see my smiling hands. You get to hear my lovely voice. So you must be on an increase row. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the last stitch. I don't think I need to keep saying this every single time. I think by now you get it, but for some reason I say it anyway. You'll get to see more of me or hear more of me when we do our humps. I know this seems like a more of a pause screen video than a tutorial video, but I mean, it's just a single crochet. I'm not really teaching you anything. I'll show you how to decrease and stuff like that. So you gotta make a big project like this kind of shrink down a bit. Nobody wants to watch a super long duper video. Plus my pause screens come in handy for, you know, answering the phone, going to the bathroom, getting something to eat, getting something to drink, taking a break, having a 5, and coming back and not going, oh crap, where was I? It's right there on the screen what you were doing. So, and if you gotta close it, you can always take a screenshot of the pause screen too and know exactly where you were. So I put 2 in that one. So this row is just going to be straight up 1 single crochet in each stitch. This is round 37. I'll see you at round 30. Round 38, increase row. It's been a long time. How have you guys been? Waiting on me? Looky, looky. You're getting close. We're on row 40, which is an increase row. I almost wanted to do a double there again. I think I'm getting loopy with all the redundant row after row after row. Row 42. Increase row. Round 44. Increase round. Doing this, doing that. One in each in the middle. Almost there, guys, almost there. So, we are on our last, before our humps, not our last round, but before our humps. We are on our last row before we start our humps. This is the row, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch because we just did our increase. This row has to have 45 stitches. Because my pattern, I did 22 single crochets, skipped 1, and did 22 single crochets for the humps with the space in the middle. Let's skip 1 in the middle. So this has to have 45 stitches. So if you've done everything right, all the way up, you should have 45 stitches. If not, you're going to have to add them or take away stitches. So if you have to take away, so I'm just going to quickly show you. This isn't part of what we're doing. I'm just going to show you that if you have to take away stitches with a single crochet, if you don't know, I'm going to show you here in these 2 stitches. So if you have to take away, if you have to turn 2 stitches into 1 stitch or more, you're going to go into this stitch and you're going to yarn over and pull through and stop. You're going to go into your second stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull through. You'll have 3 loops and you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. That's how you turn 2 stitches into 1 stitch. So now you've just dropped, you've taken away 1 stitch. So if you have to do more than just 1 stitch, you're going to have to do that a couple of times along the way. You won't notice it in your pillow, so don't worry about it being noticeable. Obviously, if you have to add stitches to come up with 45, then it's just double up in one, put 2 in one of the holes. So this round is just 1 single crochet in each stitch, and then I'll meet you back here to do the humps. Alrighty, let's make some humps for this heart. This is the exciting part. It's almost done. And then you get to make a second one of these. Alright. You're going to single crochet 22 stitches. That is 22. Stitches. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to single crochet 22. Chain 1, turn your work. So we're going to do a decrease row. We have to start coming in like this. So a decrease is you go in, grab some yarn, you go into the second stitch, you grab some yarn, you have 3 loops, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's a decrease. So you're going to decrease in the first stitch, you're going to decrease, sorry, in the last stitch. Forgot what we were doing. Seconds after we started. Okay, I'll be fine. So we're going to make our humps, obviously. We got to round them out. So decrease in these last 2 stitches you need to decrease in. The first 2 stitches you need to decrease in. And then everything in the middle is just single crochet. So I've come to my last 2 stitches. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to yarn over and pull through. I'm going to go into my second stitch, yarn over, pull through. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Chain 1, turn your work. So this round is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. It's hard to concentrate. My cat is spazzing out and I'm trying to concentrate. I didn't even count that row. I don't even know how many I have. My cat is distracting me. He freaks out over my yarn. I'm pulling my yarn up. So next row is going to be a decrease row. So again, we're going to come in, you're going to grab some yarn, pull through, go into your second stitch, grab some yarn, pull through, and then you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. And you're going to do the same thing on the last 2 stitches. So I'm not doing the second hump with you, so you're going to have to do, it's going to obviously be on my screen, my pause screen, but you're going to be doing it yourself, so you're going to have to pay attention. More so than I'm paying attention, because my cat is distracting me. It makes it really hard when he's pulling back on the yarn because he's chasing it. All of a sudden my yarn gets really tight. So I'm at my last 2 stitches. I'm going to go in, yarn over and pull through. I'm going to go into my second stitch, yarn over, pull through. And then I'm going to pull through all 3 loops. Chain 1, turn your work. If I can without getting twisted. Isn't this pretty? It's pretty. So this row is just going to be a straight up 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I had 18 stitches there. Chain 1, turn your work. So the next 2 rows are going to be decrease rows. So go into your first stitch, which is this hidden one. Remember, the hidden stitch. So you're going to go in and yarn over. Go into your second stitch, yarn over. Pull through all 3. Regular stitches till you get to your last 2. Which shouldn't take long now. We're closing the gap, gals. Guys and gals. So I'm at my last 2. So I'm going to go in and yarn over and pull through. And I'm going to go into my second stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through all 3. Chain 1, turn your work. Decrease row number 2. Oh, good Lord. This is getting long. So I'm at my last 2 stitches, and I'm going to decrease, chain 1, and turn my work. So now we're at another 1 single crochet in each stitch around, kind of a row. That's 14. Chain 1, turn my work. Another decrease row. Alright, so we're at another 1 single crochet in each stitch around, or in each stitch around, in each stitch row. That's 2. That's 12. Chain 1, turn your work. Our last decrease row, chain 1, turn your work. So to get the nice rounded top here, you're going to decrease the first 2 stitches. So it's going to be written as single crochet 2 tog, which means you're going to single crochet 2 together. That's what how decrease is written if you're reading a written pattern. Wow, that's hard to say. Like Sally sells, she sells by the seashore. Anyway, 2 tog your first ones together there. Your next one's going to be a, oh sorry, your next one's not going to be a single crochet. Okay, single crochet, 2 tog, so decrease the first 2. You're going to half double crochet the next one, not a single, half double crochet the next one. Oh, for those that don't know what a half double crochet is, let me show you. So you're going to yarn over like you're going to do a double crochet. I know everyone knows what a double crochet is. Well, maybe. Yarn over, go into your stitch, pull some yarn through. You have 3 loops on. You're going to yarn over and go through all 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. Your next 4 stitches are going to have 1 double crochet in each stitch. So yarn over, go into your stitch, pull through. You have 3 loops. You're going to pull through 2. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 more. So do 3 more of those. You should have 3 stitches left. You're going to do a half double crochet, so exactly what we just did on the other side. You're You're going to do a half double crochet, and then you're going to do a decrease, single crochet decrease on the last two. You can fasten off. And just leave that for now, but you see how it's, see how it's given it a nice round top. So I'm going to show you how to reconnect. You're going to do your own hump. But for those that aren't aware of what you're going to do at this point, you're going to make a slip knot. You can just make that as small as you can for your hook. Take it off for a second. You're going to skip this next stitch and you're going to go into this stitch because we want that space in the middle. You're going to put that on your hook, tighten it just so it doesn't pull through. Pull through, make a stitch, but that's not your single crochet, so you still have to do a single crochet stitch. You're going to single crochet 22 all the way back over to this side. But now I want you to weave these tails in. You can weave them in after, but it's just so easy. It's easier to just weave them in as you're crocheting, and that way you just have to snip off whatever you didn't get in there. So you're going to follow the same instructions. I'm going to put them on the screen, but you're going to follow the same instructions as we just did to make this hump. So you're going to single crochet 22. That's 22. So whatever I didn't get weaved in, I can just snip off at this point. Anyway, I'll put the pattern up now that you've got your base started. You're going to do the same thing on this side. I will put the pattern up on the screen, and I'll meet you back here when you're done. Alright, so I've come to the end of my round. I'm going to fasten off. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Oh, too late. I didn't want to fasten off because I'm going to be crocheting these together, but it's too late. I'll have to reconnect. No big deal. So I am going to tuck away, so you can pick whatever side you want. I don't think you gotta go that far with them, since they're all going to be jammed into a pillow and stuffed and sewn together, and so I don't think it's that urgent that you need to weave them in for miles or anything. You don't even really have to cut them down. So I got my bottom piece here. So after you tuck your stuff away, make your second one. I'll put the pattern up on the screen. You can make your second piece and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so we're ready to put these two bad boys together, so you can just put them whatever way you want to put them. We're going to have to rejoin because, well, I mean, you may not. You may still have yarn attached. I'm going to use both pieces to crochet my two pieces together. So I'm just going to reattach like we did earlier with just making a slip knot. So I'm going to start at the bottom. So you don't have stitches all along the side. You're just going to have to stick your hook in wherever you can manage to get your hook in, but try to start at the same spot. I'm just gonna put mine the bottom here. I'm just going to pull through, and I'm going to make a stitch, and then I'm going to go back in and make another stitch. We are not going to be turning this inside out. So you can just go ahead and wherever, I think the last hearts that I did, I think I had you crochet around the whole outside of it to make stitches, which probably would have been a good idea here, but you can just stick your stitch or your hook in wherever you can get your hook in, and I can't seem to pull mine through for some reason. I'm getting stuck on something. I don't know what I'm, oh, there we go. I don't know what I was stuck on. I think I don't know what I was stuck on. Anyway, it's going to be very hard to do on camera, so I'm just going to kind of do a little bit with you. So because you don't have stitches, you're just creating them as you go. So you got to remember to pull tight and try to keep them spaced close enough together that your pillow isn't going to have gaps or anything. But aesthetically it looks really nice. So just make sure you're going in and out in roughly the same spot so that you don't get bunching. That's what you're going to get. And it doesn't look that bad. I just found it, the reason I didn't have you go around single crochet the whole outside so that we had stitches was because I just found that this sat up too high, and that's why I decided. I mean, I guess I still could have, but I just found it sat up too high and I didn't want to do that for my pillow. If you don't like the look of this and you know what a whip stitch is, you can do that too, although hard to whip stitch when you don't have stitches to whip stitch with. Alright, I've got a little hole I've left and I gotta jam stuffing all the way up to the top. So I decided I was gonna stop and leave a big enough hole that my arm can get in there. This is a big pillow. So be sure to pull your stuffing apart. You don't want bunching. It's a big pillow. It's going to take a lot of stuffing. And then we'll measure it. You can stuff it however you want, whether it be firm or soft, or I buy those big boxes at Michael's, big boxes of stuffing that last for months and months and months. For 40 bucks. It's a lot cheaper. You can buy bags of stuffing at Walmart for $5 or something. Obviously Canadian dollars. I'm in Canada, but it lasts me, and I make dolls and everything, and it lasts me maybe a couple of weeks. $5 every couple of weeks. Big box of stuffing at Michael's, which is really good stuffing too, by the way, for $40. It lasts me through all my dolls and my pillows and stuff like that, probably 5 months. So you're saving money buying the big box at Michael's. A little more awkward to have around because you need a space for a big box, but totally worth it if you do a lot of stuff like I do. Let it come in this way and push Whoa, my bag fell. I almost don't have room on my little table here. So really be sure you get into here so you can round this off so it's not so square looking. It's all in how you stuff it. Some people think that stuffing's just sticking the stuffing in it, but it's really not, because you gotta shape it too. You know, it's not just sticking stuffing in. But just be careful. I mean, we have a really nice single crochet going on, but you can still, if you get really close, see the stuffing through there, so try not to overstuff it. So, I just got back to the end, and I just slip stitched into that stitch that I had there, and I fastened off. So I'm just gonna weave this in as soon as I find my needle. I don't seem to know what I did with my needle. I'll have to use another one. There we go. So I'm gonna have to go take a picture of it somewhere else, because it's a ginormous pillow. It's ginormous. So thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.